everyone. So me and Sweetie decided that we would bring you a video on fragrances with benzoin in them. I really enjoyed doing my recent best rose fragrance list, and I've been meaning to bring one out with benzoin because I love benzoin in fragrances. It's a beautiful, powdery, soft, vanillic, slightly incense-like thing that is just gorgeous. Benzoin comes from the styrax or benzoin tree. The tree has to be 7 years old before it will produce benzoin, and someone has to actually damage the tree to force it to make the benzoin. Benzoin is very common in perfumes and flavours as well, and very much in the incenses that you can buy. So if you're not quite sure what benzoin smells like, just go out and buy some incense, of benzoin scented incense. That should give you an idea. Or these, which are papier d'harmonie, and these are incense papers. So what you do, these are soaked in benzoin material, and you would take one of these out and you fold it up, and then you just light the end, blow it out, and then the paper will burn very quickly and leave a lovely scent in the air. That will give you an idea of what they smell like if you're not sure. And these papers just smell beautiful, warm, vanillic, cozy, just perfect, especially in this horrible weather. You want benzoin in your life to give you a hug. So I've picked out fragrances that I think have the most benzoin in them, the most noticeable amount of benzoin, but they're also beautiful fragrances that I adore. So I'm going to put them in no particular order, except my very favourite one I am leaving till last. So let's start off then with, this one is called Lui by Guerlain, and I've sprayed it already on a strip, and this smells like there's an awful lot of benzoin in here. It's powdery and it's vanillic, it's ever so slightly smoky and incensey. It's really cozy, and it's the kind of fragrance that you wear if you want someone to give you a hug and just feel relaxed. It's just beautiful. Lui is by perfumer Thierry Wasser and Delphine Jelk. Came out last year, 2017. Notes of pear, clove, benzoin, carnation, leather, musk, vanilla and smoke. And I have to say, I don't really notice any pear. Nothing obvious. To me, it's more of a sweet, vanillic, almost suede-like. So maybe the leather is coming off more like a suede. It's very fuzzy and soft and fluffy. Really beautiful. Not a great deal of development that I've noticed so far. I still need to give this one a few full wearings, and so that I can give it a review for everybody, but it's feeling more like the kind of fragrance. It doesn't really have any obvious top notes. You just spray it on and it's just beautiful, and it stays beautiful as it is. So that's Lui by Guerlain. So we'll call that number 5. So then let's move on to the second one. And this one many of you will be very familiar with. Midnight in Paris from Van Cleef and Arpels. This is the Eau de Parfum. I do have both Eau de Toilette and Eau de Parfum. I don't really get that much difference in the way it smells, and not really that much difference in the performance as well. So sprayed on here. Midnight in Paris, it came out in 2010. It's now discontinued. You can still find it if you look for it, but prices have been hiked up a bit in the last couple of years. The perfumer is Domitille Berthier and Olivier Polge. Notes are mate, rosemary, bergamot, lemon, leather, lily of the valley, tea, incense, benzoin, tonka, almond and amber. And when you very first spray it, it's got a freshness, but I don't get the citruses. It's more like a lamelle kind of freshness, you know, like a kind of cardamom or something smooth and clean. But then you start to get this powdery, resiny feel, which is the benzoin. And you'll also notice a suede note. It says leather, but to me I get suede. I don't get a hard leather, I get a really nice soft and vanillic leather. Really lovely. Midnight in Paris, if you get the chance to give it a go. A good example of a benzoin fragrance is Ambra del Nepal, and it's by Profumi di Firenze. And this, to me, is a prime example of a lot of benzoin, which is funny because there's no benzoin listed in the notes, but to me is classic benzoin. Very incensey, very vanillic, quite loud though, really smooth and woody and resinous. So Ambra del Nepal came out in 1990. The perfume is Giovanni Di Massimo, and he is the brand, I think he's actually a doctor behind the brand. Notes of ambergris, coriander, incense, oak moss, patchouli, sandalwood, vanilla and white musk. So there are no notes of benzoin listed, but I believe the benzoin is probably as part of the incense note. It's a very, very benzoin-y to my nose, and it's really, really gorgeous. It's a bit more punchy than the other fragrances I've mentioned so far, but it's really beautiful. I remember once I'd worn this and then I discarded the jumper I was wearing and forgotten about it, and then about 3 days later I picked the jumper up off the floor, and as I put it on I smelt the perfume on the jumper, and it blew my mind how gorgeous it was. And it also took me quite a long time to remember what the fragrance was. I could not place it, and I was tearing my hair out because I loved it so much I wanted to wear it again. Eventually remembered it was Ambra del Nepal. Really, really gorgeous, really rich and a little bit smoky as well. A really good one, that one. Okay then, so that was 5, 4, 3. So we're gonna go for number 2. Number 2, I got a cheapie for you. Look at this gigantic bottle here, Eau Des Missions, and this is by Le Couvent des Minimes, Haute Provence, Couvent des Minimes. I think most of you will know this one now. It's very well known in Fragcom as an extremely amazing, high quality vanilla fragrance that can be had for super cheap. So we have this 500ml bottle we picked up for £12 in TK Maxx in the UK, and I decant it into a plain atomizer and I sprayed it on here. Honestly, it's so good. It's supposed to be a cologne. I get an eau de toilette kind of performance from it. So they've actually put the ingredients on the bottle because I think they use mostly naturals in here. The top listed ingredient is benzoin, Styrax benzoin. Let the cat out. So yeah, the main note here is Styrax benzoin, or that's certainly the first listed ingredient. It says Camellia de Chine, so that means I think that means camellia from China, but I looked up camellia and apparently it doesn't have a smell, so I'm not sure quite what's going on there. And then you have Virginian cedarwood, and there's a herb called Centella asiatica, and myrrh and vanilla, vanilla planifolia. So very, very simplistic, and that is exactly what you get though. You get woods, vanilla, incense, myrrh, benzoin, and there is a floral note, which I've always thought was a rose. It reminds me a little bit of Intense Cafe. There's just a kind of rosy hint in there as well, but mostly it's vanilla and resin, so you get the beautiful benzoin making it lovely and powdery and smooth. Really gorgeous fragrance, that Eau Des Missions. So that leaves my number 1. This is a favourite benzoin fragrance of mine, and it's called Bois Domine by Guerlain. I wore this one today and it's gorgeous. I absolutely adore this fragrance. Let me tell you all about it. Bois Domine Came out in 2006. The perfume is Anicmanado. The notes are iris, pink pepper, incense, coriander, benzoin, gaiac wood, patchouli, white musk, and kapahu balm, which is another resin. But the benzoin is the star player here, and then the vanilla. The opening is slightly peppery. You get a load of benzoin immediately. It's smooth and powdery and vanillic and so enveloping. And actually this fragrance is based upon these papers. See, they're called Papier d'Arménie. The fragrance is called Bois d'Arménie. And when you smell these papers, they are pretty close to this. This is maybe more woodsy, a lot more vanillic. When you wear this fragrance, the vanilla just intensifies as you wear it. But it's a very transparent, it's not a heavy fragrance, but it's noticeable, but you get to breathe fresh air all the while smelling this gorgeous, gorgeous fragrance. Bois d'Arménie to me is the best benzoin fragrance I've ever smelled. Okay, I've got a couple of extras for you. So these are fragrances that are very benzoin heavy. They are very much about benzoin, but I thought I would give you a couple of fragrances that have benzoin as a keynote, but it's not necessarily the #1 player. And one of those, this is one that Dan actually loves, Mr. Smelly, really loves this. What Would Love Do by Lush Gorilla perfumes. So this one, the benzoin just really gives it an amazing backbone. So the actual top notes are, was tangerine is listed as a top note, that's it, but actually I smell a lot more than that. It smells to me like there's lime and various citruses, limes and oranges, and the mid notes apparently lavender. Again, I don't really get a lot of that. To me it's more sweet and woodsy and resinous. And the benzoin is listed as the base note on the bottle, on the ingredients. Benzoin is actually the top perfume ingredient. So you've got alcohol, water, then benzoin resinoid. So benzoin's a key player in this fragrance, but it is kind of surrounded by the really sharp yet sweet citruses. But it's there to give it this real cozy feel. So that's What Would Love Do by Gorilla Perfumes. And another one that's got a gorgeous benzoin note, not as the main player, but just as a sparkling, very important key player, is this Lolita Lempicka Minuit Oak Couture. So I would say the main note that you get when you first spray it is aniseed. It's got licorice and star anise, which both give off that aniseedy vibe. But you can also smell powdery resins and vanilla and iris, and all together with the benzoin you just get this really cozy, powdery, smooth, sweet, ethereal thing that's absolutely gorgeous. So benzoin is very much an important part of that fragrance, and I really love it. And benzoin is in so many different fragrances, and it's something that I look out for. And if I see it listed as a note and the other notes look like I'd like them as well, then I'm always interested to smell them, because I just love benzoin. Benzoin's fabulous. Benzoin's great. So please tell me what are your favourite benzoin fragrances. Do you like it as a key note or as a main note, or do you only like it if it's more in the background? What do you think? Let me know. Thank you for watching. Sweetie would like to say something now. She just said, "Arr." Thanks everybody. See you soon.